This is a story about a man who lost $2 million that he never even knew he had. Nobody stole it from him. He did not get scammed. He did not lose it in a bad investment. The money just disappeared because of one short conversation that lasted only 3 minutes. And here is the scary part. This same thing might be happening to you right now. Or maybe it already happened. Or maybe it is about to happen. And by the time you figure it out, it will be too late to fix it. This is the story of Marcus. And this is the story of how one normal Tuesday completely destroyed his future. It was March in the year 2005. A man named Marcus Chen walked into a big office building in Boston. It was his first day at his new job. Marcus was 25 years old. He had just finished college. He was going to make $42,000 per year. He was wearing a suit that was a little too big for him and had $843 in his bank account. He felt like a real adult, like he had finally made it. Marcus took the elevator to the 9th floor and walked into the Human Resources office. A woman named Patricia was sitting at a desk. She smiled at Marcus and asked him to sit down. Then she slid a big folder across the desk toward him. Inside the folder were many forms. There was a form for health insurance, a form for dental insurance, a form for his taxes, and one for his paycheck. Marcus started signing all of the forms without really reading them. His hand was just moving automatically. Patricia was talking, but Marcus was only half listening. She was saying something about benefits and enrollment periods. Then Patricia slid one more piece of paper across the desk. This paper looked different from the others. At the top of the page it said Roth IRA enrollment. Patricia tapped the paper with her pen. She said, "This form was optional, but I recommend it. The company would not match any money, but there were good tax benefits." She said most employees sign up for it. Her voice sounded flat and boring, maybe because she had probably said these exact same words 5,000 times before to other new employees. Marcus looked at the form. The form was asking him to put away $200 every single month. That meant he would be saving $2,400 every year. Marcus did the math very quickly in his head. $200 per month was almost 6% of his entire salary. And Marcus did not have that kind of money to spare. He was thinking about his credit card bill, which was over $4,000, about his car which needed new tires, about how his friends wanted to take a trip to Miami in 2 months and he had already told them maybe because he was not sure he could afford it. All that stuff. Patricia was waiting for his answer. Her pen was ready. Marcus cleared his throat and said the words that would change the next 40 years of his life. He said, "I think I am going to pass on this one for now. I will come back to it next year once I am more settled." Patricia nodded her head. She had heard this response many times before. She checked a box on the form that said declined and Marcus signed his name at the bottom of the page. The whole conversation took exactly 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Marcus walked out of that office thinking about where he would eat lunch, about his new desk, about how to impress his new boss, all that corporate fantasy stuff. He did not think about that retirement form again for 5 whole years. And by that time, the damage was already done. The damage was already catastrophic. But let me tell you about someone else. Let me tell you about a person Marcus will never meet in his entire life. Her name was Jennifer. Jennifer lived in a different city called Portland. On that exact same day in March of 2005, Jennifer was also 25 years old. She was also starting her first real job and was also going to make $42,000 per year. And just like Marcus, Jennifer was completely broke. Jennifer was sitting in a human resources office that looked almost exactly like the office where Marcus had been sitting. A woman who looked a lot like Patricia slid the same folder across the desk. Jennifer filled out the same forms. Health insurance, dental insurance, taxes, paycheck information, all the fancy paperwork. And then the woman slid over the Roth IRA enrollment form. She gave Jennifer the same speech about optional enrollment and tax benefits. Jennifer stared at that form. She stared at the line that said $200 per month. Her stomach felt tight and uncomfortable. She really did not have this money. She absolutely did not have $200 extra lying around every month. But something had happened 3 weeks before this moment. Jennifer had gone home to visit her family for her grandmother's 75th birthday party. After all the guests had left and the house was quiet, Jennifer's grandmother had asked her to sit down on the front porch. The old woman took both of Jennifer's hands in her own hands. Her grip was very strong and very urgent. She looked directly into Jennifer's eyes with an intensity that made Jennifer feel uncomfortable. And then her grandmother said something that Jennifer would never forget. She said, "Baby, when you get that new job, I need you to promise me something very important. Whatever retirement plan they offer you, I need you to say yes. You need to say yes on day one. Not next month. Not next year. Day one. I do not care if you have to eat rice and beans for dinner every night. I do not care if you have to skip the fun things your friends are doing. You need to start saving money on the very first day you start working. Promise me you will do this." Jennifer had asked her grandmother why this was so important. Her grandmother's eyes had filled up with tears. She said, "Because I did not do it. And now I am 75 years old and I am still working part-time at the grocery store because I cannot afford to stop working. I thought I had plenty of time to start saving. I thought I would start later. And then later became never. Do not be like me. Please do not be like me." So Jennifer was sitting in that HR office with the pen shaking a little bit in her hand. And even though every part of her brain was screaming that she could not afford this, she checked the box that said yes. $200 per month. She signed her name at the bottom. She walked out of that office feeling like she had just made a terrible mistake. She felt like she had just agreed to throw money into a fire and watch it burn. She had absolutely no idea that she had just made the smartest financial decision of her entire life. Two people. The same day. The same exact choice in front of them. One person said not right now, the other person said yes. And right at that moment, the universe started keeping score. The clock started ticking, and it would keep ticking for the next 40 years. Time moved forward the way time always does. It kept going and going, not caring about Marcus or Jennifer or their choices. It just kept moving. 5 years later, Marcus was now 30 years old. He had gotten 2 raises at his job. He was now making $58,000 per year. He had paid off that credit card debt, bought new tires for his car. He went on that trip to Miami with his friends and had met a woman named Amy whom he fell in love with. They even talked about moving in together. Life was really happening. Real adult life with real adult problems and real adult joys. Marcus thought about retirement savings sometimes. He really did think about it. Especially when his father complained about not having enough money. But there was always something more urgent that needed his attention right away. He needed money for a security deposit on an apartment. His laptop broke and he needed a new one. His college friend was getting married and he needed to buy a wedding gift. Marcus kept telling himself that he would open a retirement account next year when things calmed down a little bit. When he feels he had more breathing room in his budget. Jennifer was also 30 years old now. She had also gotten raises at her job. She was also making $58,000 per year. She was also living a full and complicated life with all the normal ups and downs. But every single month, $200 disappeared from her paycheck before she ever even saw it. Last year when she got a raise, she had increased it to $250 per month. But Jennifer did not log in to check her retirement account. She did not think about it at all. It was like a bill that she did not have to pay attention to. It just happened automatically. But something very important was happening inside that retirement account. Something Jennifer could not see and did not understand yet. Her account balance had grown to $23,400. She had personally put in $15,000 of her own money. But the other $8,400 had come from somewhere else. That money had just appeared. It had grown in the darkness while Jennifer was sleeping, working, and was living her normal life. The money had made more money all by itself. And now that new money was starting to make its own money. Something called compound interest had started doing its work. It was like a snowball rolling down a hill, getting bigger and bigger with every turn. Marcus had $0 saved for retirement. He had $0 working for him while he slept. He had $0 multiplying and growing in the background. He had nothing. Another 5 years passed by. Marcus was now 35 years old. He had married Amy and they had a 2-year-old daughter named Sophie. They had bought a small house in a neighborhood with good schools. Marcus was now making $74,000 per year. He was doing really well. He was doing better than his parents had done when they were his age. Everything seemed to be going great. But one night, after Marcus had put little Sophie to bed, and after Amy had fallen asleep on the couch, Marcus was lying in bed by himself. He was scrolling through his phone when he saw an article about retirement. The article said that most Americans were not prepared for retirement at all. The article said that by the time you are 30 years old, you should have at least 1 full year of your salary saved up. Marcus felt a cold spike of fear shoot through his chest. He felt his heart start beating faster. The very next morning, Marcus opened up a Roth IRA account. Finally, after all these years, he was finally doing it. And Marcus did not mess around. He did not start small. He set up automatic contributions of $500 every single month. That was $6,000 every year. It really hurt his budget as it was money he could have used for other things. But Marcus was making up for all that lost time. He was getting back on track. He was finally in the race and had finally started running. Except there was one big problem. You see, the race had actually started 10 years ago. And Jennifer was already miles and miles ahead of him. She had a 10-year head start. And she was not slowing down. She was actually speeding up. Jennifer was also 35 years old now. Her retirement account balance was $81,600. She had contributed $37,500 of her own money over the years. But the other $44,100 had come from growth. It had come from compound interest. It had come from time. Last year alone, her account had grown by $9,000 even though she had only put in $3,000 herself. The snowball was rolling down the mountain now. It was picking up more and more snow. It was getting bigger and faster with every single revolution. It was becoming unstoppable. Marcus was starting from zero. His $500 monthly contributions felt really significant to him. They were significant. $500 per month was a lot of money. But Marcus was trying to catch up to someone who had been running for an entire decade. He was trying to catch someone who was not just ahead of him but who was actually accelerating and moving faster and faster. 10 more years dissolved into the past. Time kept moving forward like it always does. Both Marcus and Jennifer were now 45 years old. They were halfway to retirement age. This was the age where you start to feel time moving faster than it used to. This was the age where you start to really understand that later is not an infinite resource. Later eventually runs out. Jennifer's retirement account now had $318,000 in it. She had contributed $90,000 of her own money over the past 20 years. But the other $228,000 was pure compound growth. It was money that had made itself. Last year, her account had grown by $31,000 all by itself. But she had only personally contributed $3,600. The money was now making more money than she was contributing from her paycheck. The machine was running on its own now. It did not need her to do anything. It was just growing and growing all by itself. Marcus had been contributing $500 every single month for 10 years straight. That meant he had put in $60,000 of his own hard-earned money. His account balance was now $98,300. That was actually a really good number. It was way more than most Americans his age had managed to save. Marcus should have felt proud of himself. But something happened one night that changed everything. Marcus could not sleep. He was lying in bed staring at the ceiling. His mind was racing with thoughts about the future, about retirement, about money, about his daughter Sophie and her future. So Marcus grabbed his phone off the nightstand. He opened up a retirement calculator website. He started typing in his numbers. $98,000 in savings at age 45. $500 per month in contributions going forward. Expected retirement age of 65. He pressed the calculate button. The number that came back was $750,000. That was how much money the calculator predicted he would have when he retired. $750,000 sounded like a huge amount of money. It was a huge amount of money. Most people never come close to saving that much. But then Marcus did something he probably should not have done. Something that would haunt him. He changed just one single number in that calculator. He moved his starting age from 35 back to 25. He kept everything else exactly the same. Same $500 monthly contribution. Same retirement age. Same everything. The only difference was that he pretended he had started 10 years earlier. He pressed calculate again. The number that appeared on his phone screen made Marcus forget how to breathe. His chest felt tight. His hands started shaking. The number was $2.8 million. $2,800,000. From the exact same monthly payment. From the exact same contribution amount. The only single difference was starting 10 years earlier. 10 years. Just 10 years. That was the difference between $750,000 and $2.8 million. Marcus stared at that number on his phone screen until the screen went dark and turned itself off. Then he just sat there in the darkness of his bedroom. He could hear his wife Amy breathing softly next to him. He was thinking about a conversation he did not even remember having 20 years ago. A conversation in an HR office with a woman named Patricia. A conversation that had lasted less than 3 minutes. A conversation that had just cost him over $2 million. 20 more years disappeared into the past. Time kept stealing days and months and years the way it always does. It never stops. It never slows down. Marcus was now 65 years old. His hair had turned gray. His daughter Sophie was all grown up now. She was married and had children of her own. Marcus had grandchildren. He was sitting in a financial advisor's office in downtown Boston. It was the same city where this whole story had started 40 years earlier. The financial advisor's name was Robert. He was younger than Marcus. Probably around 40 years old. Robert was pulling up Marcus's retirement account on his computer. He was smiling a big smile. Robert turned the computer screen so Marcus could see it. Marcus's Roth IRA account balance was $762,400. Robert reached across the desk and shook Marcus's hand firmly. He was congratulating Marcus. He was saying very nice things. He told Marcus that he was in the top 15% of all American retirees. He said that most people Marcus's age had less than $100,000 saved. He said Marcus should feel very proud of his discipline and his planning and his hard work. Marcus nodded his head and said thank you. But deep down inside, Marcus did not feel proud at all. He felt completely hollow and empty. Because Marcus knew about the other number. The ghost number. The number that followed him around every single day like a shadow. $2.8 million. That was the number that could have been his. That was the number that should have been his if he had just started 10 years earlier. If Patricia in HR had been more convincing. If he had been less worried about trips to Miami and credit card payments. If he had really understood what compound interest meant. Robert was explaining withdrawal strategies to Marcus. He was using words like safe withdrawal rate and sequence of returns risk. He was telling Marcus that he could safely take out about $35,000 to $40,000 per year from his retirement account. When you combine that with Social Security payments, Robert said, Marcus would be comfortable in retirement. Not wealthy, not rich, but comfortable. He would be okay. Marcus nodded and said that sounded good. But he was not really hearing the words. His mind was somewhere else. He was thinking about his daughter Sophie. He was thinking about how she was struggling with her own student loan debt. He was thinking about how he wished he could help her more but he could not afford to. He was thinking about the medical bills that were starting to pile up on his kitchen counter. He was thinking about long-term care insurance that he could not quite afford to buy. He was thinking about how he and Amy had to check prices carefully at restaurants now. He was thinking about how they always flew economy class and never business class. He was thinking about how he was always worrying about money. Even now. Even after 40 years of working and saving. That night, Marcus had the same dream he had been having for 20 years. In the dream, he saw a manila folder sliding across a desk. He saw a woman with silver hair and reading glasses on a chain. He saw his own 25-year-old hand picking up a pen and signing his name on a form. He saw himself walking out of an office thinking about lunch. And then Marcus woke up. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. Amy was asleep next to him. Marcus got out of bed and walked to the bathroom. He turned on the light and looked at himself in the mirror. He was 65 years old. He had lost over $2 million because of 3 minutes. Because of one decision made by a version of himself who no longer existed. A 25-year-old kid who did not know any better. 3,000 miles away, on the other side of the country in Portland, there was a woman named Jennifer. Jennifer was also 65 years old. She was also sitting in a financial advisor's office on that same day. Her advisor's name was Michelle. Michelle was pulling up Jennifer's retirement account on her computer. And Michelle was smiling an even bigger smile than Robert had been smiling. The number on the screen was $2,736,900. Every single penny of it was tax-free. Every single penny was ready to be withdrawn whenever Jennifer wanted it. Every single penny was completely accessible to her. Michelle was explaining to Jennifer that she could safely withdraw $125,000 every single year and she would never run out of money. $125,000. Every single year. For the rest of her entire life. That was more money per year than Jennifer had ever made while she was working at her job. Jennifer started crying right there in Michelle's office. She did not mean to cry. She had not planned on crying. The tears just started coming out and she could not stop them. She was thinking about her grandmother. Her grandmother had died 15 years ago. She had never gotten to retire. She had worked at that grocery store until the very last day that her body could physically do the work. And then she had died just a few months after she finally stopped working. She never got to enjoy retirement. She never got to travel. She never got to relax. Jennifer was thinking about that conversation on the front porch in the year 2005. She was thinking about her grandmother grabbing her hands and begging her to start saving on day one. Jennifer had put in approximately $96,000 of her own money over 40 years. The other $2,600,000 had come from compound interest. It had come from time. It had come from starting on day one instead of promising to start someday later. It had come from one single decision made by her 25-year-old self. A decision to trust an old woman's urgent warning. The difference between Marcus's retirement account and Jennifer's retirement account was $1,974,500. It was almost exactly $2 million. That was the cost of waiting 10 years. That was the cost of one short conversation. That was the cost of saying not right now instead of saying yes. Marcus and Jennifer will never meet each other. They will never know that the other person exists. They will never hear each other's stories. But in a strange way, they are connected forever. They are connected by the same exact moment in time. March 14, 2005. They faced the same choice. They stood at the same fork in the road. One person went left. The other person went right. And the universe kept perfect score for 40 years. It never forgot. It never made a mistake. It just kept counting. I am telling you this story right now because somebody out there needs to hear it. Maybe that somebody is you. Maybe you are 25 years old right now and you are sitting in an office looking at a form you do not really understand. Maybe you are 35 years old and you have been telling yourself that you will start next year. Maybe you are 45 years old and you are just now starting to realize what you have already lost. Whoever you are, wherever you are, you need to hear this. Here is the truth that nobody wants to say out loud. Compound interest rewards time more than it rewards money. You can put in more money than someone else and still end up with way less money if you start too late. That does not seem fair. That does not feel right. It does not match how we think money should work. But it does not care about what seems fair or what feels right. It only cares about time. And time is the one single asset in the world that you can never buy back. Once it is gone forever. If you are in your 20s right now and you start putting away just $200 every single month into a Roth IRA, you will have close to $3 million when you retire. If you wait until you are in your 30s to start, you will have about $1 million. If you wait until you are in your 40s to start, you might have about $500,000. Every single year that you delay and put it off costs you hundreds of thousands of dollars in growth. That is money that could have been growing in the darkness while you were sleeping and working and living your life. But here is what I really need you to understand. I am not telling you this story to make you feel hopeless. I am not trying to make you feel bad. I am trying to make you feel angry. Angry enough to stop waiting. Angry enough to stop telling yourself that you will deal with it next year. Because next year is a lie that we tell ourselves. Next year is how you become Marcus. Next year is how you lose $2 million that you never even knew you had in the first place. Today is the day. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not after you pay off your credit card. Not after you get your next raise. Not after you buy that thing you have been wanting. Today. Right now. This moment. Open the retirement account today. Set up automatic contributions today. It can be $50 per month. It can be $100 per month. It can be $200 per month. Whatever amount you can actually afford without completely destroying your life. Set it up to happen automatically so you never even see the money. Let it disappear from your paycheck before you can spend it on something else. Let it vanish into that retirement account where it can start growing in the dark. Because 40 years from now, you are going to be 65 years old. You are going to be sitting in a financial advisor's office. You are going to be looking at a number on a computer screen. And that number is either going to be the best news you have ever received in your entire life, or it is going to be your biggest regret. Your deepest source of pain. The thing that keeps you awake at 3 in the morning for the rest of your life. Do not be Marcus. Do not spend the next 20 years lying awake at night thinking about a 3-minute conversation you had when you were 25 years old. Do not lose $2 million because you thought you had plenty of time. Do not tell yourself that you will start next year. Be Jennifer. Start today. Start right now. Let compound interest do its magic while you are sleeping. Let time work for you instead of working against you. Let that money grow in the darkness while you live your life. The clock started ticking on the day you were born. It has never stopped. It will never stop. Every single second that passes without you taking action is a second of compound growth that you will never get back. It is gone forever. Every single day that you wait, the gap gets wider and wider. Every single month that passes is money that you are leaving on the table forever. So I'm asking you right now, what are you going to do? Are you going to keep scrolling? Are you going to keep telling yourself that you will deal with it later? Are you going to keep making excuses? Or are you going to pause this video right now, pick up your phone, and start the process of opening that retirement account? Because I promise you this with absolute certainty. Your future self is watching this exact decision right now. They are watching you. And 40 years from now, they are either going to thank you from the bottom of their heart, or they are going to hate you with every fiber of their being. Which one is it going to be? What is your choice? The clock is ticking. Time is running out. What are you going to do? If this story opened your eyes and made you think differently about your future, do me a favor. Hit that like button right now. It helps more people see this message. And if you want more stories like this that could change your financial future, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. I share stories every week that most people never hear until it is too late. Do not let that be you. Drop a comment below and tell me, are you going to be Marcus or are you going to be Jennifer? I read every single comment. And if you know someone who needs to hear this story, someone in their 20s or 30s who keeps saying they will start saving next year, share this video with them right now. You might just save them $2 million. Thanks for watching. Now go open that retirement account. Your future self is counting on you.